What's going on? This is the Brett Snodgrass Podcast, and today I'm going to do a solo tour for you guys. I have not done this in a while, and I'm super excited. I just get to talk to you guys, get to have a casual conversation with y'all. I'm super excited for today. Before I get into the show and the topics that we're going to cover, I want you guys to go over to YouTube and subscribe to the Iron Deep channel. That is our new YouTube channel. It's called Iron Deep. That's our new organization, Iron Deep. Check out our website at irondeep.com. See all the things that we're doing over there, guys. It's brand new. This is a new venture for me. I'm super excited to pour into you, to men, to businessmen of faith, and just really excited what God's doing in the kingdom, in the marketplace. So go over to irondeep.com or go over to YouTube and check out our channel, Iron Deep. But this is the Brett Snodgrass Podcast, and like I said, I don't have a guest on today's podcast. I have not had a conversation, just a casual conversation with y'all in a while, and I'm super excited, number one, just to tell you about what God is doing in the kingdom of my heart, and in this new organization, Iron Deep, and what we have coming up, and all the things that I've been kind of like doing behind the scenes, what God's been kind of tweaking my heart, and what's kind of going on. So thank you guys for joining today, and I just want to start off with some of the highlights of what we're doing and with Iron Deep, and just with what God's doing in my heart and in my life. So number one, Iron Deep, guys. If you have not heard of this new organization, Iron Deep, I want to define exactly what it is. So we are starting a community. This is a men's community for business owners and business leaders that have that desire for more intimacy with the Father and a deeper connection and deeper relationships with other like-minded men. What I have found is that, number one, business owners and business leaders already feel alone. Is the truth. We already feel alone because we feel like no one understands us. No one quite gets us. They don't understand why we're so driven. Why can't we just clock in and clock out, work a 9-to-5 job, not continuously be driven and do projects and try to succeed and try to achieve? And I'm just going to tell you, that's the way God designed us. That's the way God designed me. That's the way God designed you, and it's okay. If you check our Enneagram, we're like big 3s or 8s, and we're just driven individuals, and some people don't understand that, and it's hard to find. And if you do find it, you typically go to a mastermind group that is business related, that you're talking about business, you're talking about succeeding in your business and making more money and your culture of your business, and how can you scale your business, and how can you get freedom out of your business, like I did a couple years ago. And that's what you talk about. You talk about business, right? Or on the vice versa, if you want more faith and you want to talk about God and you want to talk about some of those different things that God's laying on your heart, you want to be vulnerable, you want to lay it out, take the mask off a little bit, talk about some of the problems that you're going through, the inner, deeper depths of your soul, and you might find that in a church or a small group. And again, you go there and you have that group, which is awesome, which is much needed. But sometimes, again, you can't really relate because you're the business owner, you're driven, and it's hard to find groups that match that inside of the church. And so I saw this big need, and I'm like, man, I'm kind of lonely, and I have some business guys that I love to hang out with and talk about business guys. I have some personal friends that I love to hang out with, but I wanted to put those two together, and let's have a businessmen organization that want to be driven and talk about business stuff, but also want these other areas of our life to be fulfilled, especially with the foundation of that intimacy with the Father and some of these other areas of life that we want to be fulfilled in. So that's where Iron Deep is born. It's this men's organization that we have formed that are basically, if you go to website irondeep.com, it is men seeking more than success. Men seeking more than success. There's a quote that I heard a few years ago that rocked me to the core. If you go to the website again, D.L. Moody said this. He created the Moody Bible Institute. If you ever heard of Moody Radio, he kind of started some of that stuff. A really amazing man of God in history. And he said that our biggest fear should not be failure. It should be succeeding at something that doesn't matter. And so I had to take a step back, and I was like, you know what? Am I doing the things that God's calling me to do? Am I succeeding on the things that matter in life, even to the smallest thing? Am I impacting people's lives? And if I look at my sphere, how can I be the most impactful? And I was like, I'm around business guys all the time that are sometimes miserable. They have everything that the world offers them, yet they're miserable. They're unfulfilled. They're unhappy. Their home lives, if you really look inside the windows, are a mess. I'm not saying that mine's perfect. It's kind of broken as well. But that's a different story. But I do the best I can as leading my home. But if you start to really look at their soul, they come to a season of their life and they're lost. And that's where really Iron Deep was born out of, and I'm super excited to just bring this to you guys. So if you guys are interested in more information on this new organization, Iron Deep, go to irondeep.com. Our first event is called the Iron Deep Men's Awakening. Now exactly what is that, and why are we starting with this? Well, we're starting with this event. It's a 3-day event in the Rocky Mountains of Utah. Totally undistracted, unplugged, very intentional. We're inviting a max of 30 men to this retreat. We rented out a 26,000 square foot log cabin, the world's largest log cabin in the Rocky Mountains, actually in the world, but it's the largest log cabin in the world. It's in the Rocky Mountains of Utah, about an hour out of Salt Lake City. We rented out this 26,000 square foot log cabin. It beds max 30 people, has 30 beds. So we're inviting 30 men to this event. It's called the Men's Awakening, and we are digging deep. This is going to be a different type of feel than what you're used to. If you're used to going to this business networking, this business RIA, this mastermind for investors, whatever it is, if you're used to going to that, this is going to be different. If you're used to going to church and hearing people sing and listening to a message, this is going to be different than that. So it's going to be amazing. It's called the Men's Awakening. It is September the 25th through the 28th of this year. We got just 7 weeks left, guys. 7 weeks left before this event. And just super excited. We only have like 4 spots left. I think we got about 26 people coming right now. We got about 4 spots left. So if you're interested, go over to irondeep.com and apply. We're going to be digging deep. It's going to be taking the masks off, getting a little real, getting a little raw, figuring out who we are in Christ, because that's our foundation. Everything through our organization is going to flow through that lens, through the eyes of the Father and God. Through that, we're going to go through that lens. If something's wrong in your life, we start back at this foundation. If your home life is, you're having some trouble in your marriage or your parenting or your kids, we can work on that stuff, and we will, but we start here. This is the foundation. What is your intimacy like with God? What is your relation like with Christ? Are you spending time with him? Is he close to you? Is he a distant father, or is he an intimate father that you're spending alone time with, undistracted, intentional time with? And this is what we're going to be digging into. It's going to be a deeper encounter with the Father and a deeper relational development with other like-minded businessmen. I don't know about you, but I go to some of these events and we talk about business, we talk about some cool stuff, and it's awesome, and it has helped me out so much. This one, we're going to get a little real. What are the things that you don't want to talk about, right? But you need to talk about. You need to be radically honest with yourself and with other people in a safe environment to share these things. Like, guys, I'm going to be radically honest. I'm struggling over here, right? I mean, there's certain areas of my life I'm struggling. And I want a safe space to be able to talk about that with. And honestly, I start to look around and I don't have a lot of that. And so that's just what Iron Deep is. That's why we're starting out with this Men's Awakening. Go over to irondeep.com again. Check out our retreat, the Men's Awakening, September the 25th through the 28th of September. It's $1,500, guys. I mean, people like say, I'm a businessman. Yes, I like to make money. I like to scale businesses, buy businesses, own businesses, and I do that and flip houses. I do all that stuff. But man, this is just not a moneymaker for me. Like, I love to make money, but I'm like, this is just where we're starting, right? $1,500. That includes your lodging and your food, and then you just got to get there. We'll pick you up from the airport, take it from there, and shuttle you to the lodge, hang out. It's going to be an amazing time. But obviously, as you know, I mean, flying into the Rocky Mountains, spending $1,500 for all your food and your lodging, I mean, like, you can't even do that. So it's super cheap, honestly, and I just want to really impact men as lives. So check that out. There's going to be an ongoing brotherhood mastermind community after that. So this is what I've been really digging into. So this is the foundation, this retreat. After that, if you're interested, this is where it all starts. This is the foundation. You have to go to this retreat in order to be a part of the brotherhood community. If it's a good fit and you're like, oh my gosh, I was rocked at this retreat, transformed, changed, this retreat alone will change your life, number one. But if you want more of that, if you want to walk alongside with this community, with these guys, then we're going to have this brotherhood mastermind type of community. What I found is people go to this retreat, they got this mountaintop experience, and then they say, hey, all right. The organization says, see you guys. We'll see you. Maybe we'll do this again sometime. We're not going to do that. We're inviting you into this community. And through that, we're going to have events. We're going to be walking with you. There's going to be some accountability. There's going to be small group Zoom calls. We're going to be digging into some of these areas of life that we really want to grow in. And we're going to be drawing out your roadmap to fulfillment. I mean, that's the biggest thing is, number one, I believe you have to, the foundation of fulfilling life is to have that relationship with God. Because eventually you're going to reach a season where you're rocked and you're going to have this tragedy and loss. And you're like, what do I do with all that? And you have to have that solid foundation with the Lord in order to have a fulfilling life. I truly believe that. So we're going to draw out this roadmap for fulfillment, and we're going to be walking with you through that. That's really what the ongoing mastermind brotherhood is all about. But it has to start with this retreat. We're doing some videos. We're doing some media. Again, go over to our YouTube channel. We've started to come out with sort of creative videos. Not a lot of people know about these yet. We just came out with only 3 so far. I did a video about the Mexican fisherman parable, which was just an amazing parable. So we're going to link that in our show notes on our YouTube channel. So check that out, the Mexican fisherman parable. I did 2 other presentations or 2 other videos. One was on pride, which is the cancer of the soul. Right? If you have something wrong in your life, I believe it starts with pride. If you have sin in your life, addictions in your life, it starts with that, the sin. The great sin, C.S. Lewis called it, is the sin of pride. It's like thinking that you want to be God, right? This was like the devil's big sin. Like, why is the devil the devil? Why is he in hell with all of his demons? And why did God cast him out of heaven? Is because he wanted to be God. And how many of us, we want to have total control of our life. We want to be God. And we're mad and angry because we're not God. And every sin, every just vice starts with that pride. So I did a video on pride. I did a video on humility. So again, the opposite of pride. I believe the greatest virtue in your life is humility. Man, if you want to be a better man, if you want to be a better man of God, study how can you be more humble? And it's one of those things, it is such a tough thing because you can't force it. Like as entrepreneurs, we're super driven and we're just like, I'm going to push through and be more humble. I want to be humble. I'm going to take out all my masculinity and aggression and I want to be more humble. I want to force it. And you can't do it. You can't force humility. You got to wake up every single day, and every single day you got this prideful flesh kind of like battling and at war with your soul, with your spirituality and your spiritual soul, and you got this battle with inside of you, and you got to wake up every single day on your knees and number one, say, you know what, I'm not God, and there is a God, right? You got to wake up on your knees every single day. I am not God. Actually, let me reverse that, but basically say, there is a God and I'm not him. There is a God and I'm not him. And how can I serve him today and love and serve other people? That, I think, is the start of a humble heart. So I did a video on humility. We're going to link that too. I have also, go to the website. We got blogs coming out each and every month right now. So again, we're just getting started with this, guys. Just again, on these topics. I got a book that's coming out, which is probably the hardest thing I've ever done. This year, I started writing a book. I hired a writing coach, and I was going to hire a ghostwriter because what? Businessmen, they hire ghostwriters and they delegate it out. And I hired this writing coach, and she's been amazing, awesome. I can refer her if you're interested in writing a book. But she walked with me through writing out. I have the rough copy so far. Man, one of the hardest things in my life ever, writing a book. Just getting that out and feeling like you're a complete failure writing it. And my book is coming out probably the beginning of 2023, I would say. That's where we're shooting for. And it's really about the secret war within a driven man. Again, this is what I'm talking about. I mean, there is so many internal things that I'm dealing with, that you're dealing with. And this book is really just unraveling this war that we have inside of ourselves as driven businessmen. And I did it in an allegory way where if you think of other allegories, The Shack was an allegory, which is an amazing book. If you haven't read that, it's sort of this allegory story, fictional type, but has these non-fiction elements, spiritual elements in it. If you think of the Narnia Chronicles, I'm definitely not comparing myself to C.S. Lewis, but I'm a first-time author, first-time writer, but did it in an allegory sense and just kind of took this character, Nolan Banks, through this journey of, again, he had this battle, this internal war within inside of him, having everything that the world offers, but man, still feeling empty. And he goes on this journey, and it's pretty awesome. So I got that coming out soon. Not sure what the name of it's going to be, but again, something about the secret war within a driven man, something about that. So that's going to be awesome. So got that coming out. And so number one, if any of this resonates with you, if any of the things that we're doing resonate with you, go over to irondeep.com, contact me possibly. You can apply for our community on irondeep.com. You can send me an email at Brett, BRETT, at irondeep.com. And these are the things, if you're interested in the book, interested in more videos, I'd love to hear you guys' feedback, like what we're doing. I've heard a lot of great feedback, and it's been amazing. It's like, man, I love what you guys are doing. So awesome. If you want to be a part of it, go there. If you know someone that needs this, that you're looking, man, like, and you don't even know. That's the thing. Like, we see people all around us, and they're battling, and they have this war within inside of them, and they got this addiction going on. They're looking at pornography. They're drinking themselves to death. They're working themselves to death, and they go home and sleep on the couch, and they're just unhappy and miserable, and they're not fulfilled with their life. And this is what we're trying to do. Like, what is the map that we can help walk you with? You have to have a community, guys, to walk with. If you look around and be like, you know what, I got this thing going on and I can't tell anybody about it, apply for our community. If you're like, man, I got everything that money can buy and I'm still just, it's just like, what is wrong with me? Then I think this community can be for you. So go over to that, Brett at irondeep.com. You can email me or go over to irondeep.com and walk through that. The last thing I want to talk about is, guys, I really just like to hear from you. As I'm started to really brainstorm and ask a lot of questions. I would love to hear from my audience about what is it that would give you, what are the areas of life that you would love to grow in to have that fulfillment of life? Like if you started to look at your areas of life and what areas do you want to consistently grow in? If you're like, no, if I could grow here and here, this would reach more fulfillment for me. And we're working on this. We're actually working on sort of like an assessment of what does a fulfilled life look like for a business leader, man, right? So we're going through these different areas of life. Number one, we've talked about just that foundation. These are the areas that I've kind of came up with so far. But I want to hear from you guys, like what are those areas that you would really like to grow in? So number one, your relationship with God. Everything starts from your relationship with God, and start to ask questions like how do you assess a fulfilling intimate relationship with God. Are you doing that? And here's some of the questions that we came up with. Number one, like, how much are you spending time in the Word of God? Like, how much are you studying Him? If you want to have an intimate relationship with someone, you have got to study them. The closest relationship we have on this earth is with our spouse. And if I want an intimate relationship with her, I have got to know her. I have got to study her and research her. And what does she like? What does she dislike? How can I honor her, love her, respect her in a way that she wants to be loved? How do I please her? How do I do all of that? But I got to know her. And one of the best ways to know God is to spend time in the Word. So how much are you spending time in the Word? How much are you talking to God? So again, prayer. But how much are you just talking to Him? Do you have a faith community, an active faith community? Some people would say, yeah, I got a faith community. I go to church, things like that. But that's not even what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, do you have an active faith community where you can sit down with a couple of other people and just be totally you, let out everything, whatever you got going on, whatever you looked at, whatever you're struggling with, whatever you're addicted to? Can you just lay it out and be like, guys, I just want to be real, and this is just me, and you're still going to love me no matter what, and not judge me, and can I just do that? Do you have that? If you don't, then I don't think you have I don't think that you have an active faith community. Do you feel close to God? I mean, there's been times where I'm like, oh my goodness, God, He is this intimate Father. I could just get to sit with Him. I just get to be with Him. I get to walk with Him, and He is so close, and He is speaking to me. He is imprinting things onto my heart. He is talking to me. He's showing me and revealing things to me, and He is so intimate. He is so close to me. And there's other times I'm like, I don't know. We're on different planets. I don't even know Him at all. He's not close at all. I haven't talked to Him in forever. I haven't studied Him in a long time, and He's this distant thing. So are you feeling close to God? These are some of the questions that we're trying to assess. So number one, that is the foundation of a fulfilling life, is your relationship with God. Number two, your relationships on this earth. So it starts with your family. If you're married, it starts with your spouse. What is your relationship like with your spouse? And you can go with some of these same questions. How connected do you feel with your wife or your spouse, if you're a woman, or your husband? How connected do you feel? Are you best friends? Are you playful? Do you laugh together? How regularly are you physically intimate with your spouse? I mean, that's part of it. God created sex. I'm going to say that on the air. I can say sex, right? God created sex on the air for you. It's the most intimate thing that you can do with one another. When you get married, you are one flesh. You cannot do that with anybody else. You can do that with one person for the rest of your life, and that is have that intimate bonding time that you can't do with anybody else. You can't do it with anybody else. And God wants you to do it. That's why He did reproductive, multiply the earth through sex. I mean, obviously He wants you to go and multiply the earth, and the only way you can multiply the earth is if you had sex with each other. And He makes it so pleasurable. I mean, He could have made it just like, oh, blah, this is terrible, and it's painful, but He made it pleasurable because He wants you to have sex with your wife. So how much are you intimate with your wife? How much do you date your wife? How much do you date your spouse, right? Are you taking her out? Are you pursuing her? How much do you get away with your wife? Are you on the same page with her? And again, these are questions to men. They're asking for the community. Are you on the same page? Does your wife support you? Do you support her? You have a vision. I'm sure that you do, because if you're listening to this podcast, you're probably some sort of visionary and got a vision for your life. How much are you doing that? How much does your wife support that vision is basically what I'm saying. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. And your wife has a vision, and how much are you supportive of her vision? So these are the things. Relationship starts with your marriage, your kids. I'm asking questions about kids. How much time do you spend with your kids? How often do you spend one-on-one time with your kids? I heard from somewhere the other day that they don't allow the husband or the father or the mom to spend one-on-one time with their kids because they want equality. And I'm like, that is a bunch of crock of crapola mixed in a bag, mixed in a toilet, diarrhea all over the place. I think it's crap because I think I got 4 kids and I'm like, some of the best times is when I get with them one-on-one and spend time. Every quarter, I say, I'm going to try to spend every quarter at least a half a day or a day with each child and just to spend that time with them. How well are you leading your kids spiritually? Again, and your wife. How well are you leading them spiritually? Do you support your kids' interests? I'll tell you, I got 4 kids. I got one boy. He is a replica of myself. He loves risk, adventure, playing sports, playing with balls, all that stuff. He loves all of that stuff. And I'm like, yeah, man, let's get it. Let's do it. Let's go out and go adventure and risk and ride on things and fish and all this stuff. And my other son, he's not like that. He wants to build things and engineer, and he's like a chess player, and he's like looking at stuff, and he's like, oh man, what can I create with this and build with this? And I'm like, man, that's really not like me. And sometimes I feel like I'm supporting my other kid's interests more than this kid's interests, and I'm like, but man, I want to connect with this son too. I want to be involved and supportive of his interests instead of be like, you know what, that's cool, but why don't we go play ball? No, like I want to be with you. I want to support you. You're not like me, and it's okay. I went on this tangent, but how well are you leading and supporting your kids? Again, this is the assessment of this fulfilled life, and then relationships beyond your family. Some people, man, they make their family an idol. Their family is everything to them. I've even seen that. Family is everything. I'm going to say it's good. I love family, but I'm going to tell you, that's not everything. It's not everything. And some people are going to bash me and write Brett at irondeep.com, be like, whatever, man, family is everything. I'm going to tell you, it's not. Number one, I think the first thing, relationship with your God is everything. That if you're putting your family on this pedestal, they're going to let you down. They're going to mess up. They're going to make mistakes. And you're going to be this roller coaster ride. But if you get the foundation on the rock, the promises of God that never fail you, then that's the foundation of who we are. Anyways, your friends, this is the stuff. We're going to help guys with their relationship with God, with their relationships in general, with other guys. Again, that's where Iron Deep comes from. I'm going to go through these other ones really fast, but your health, obviously. Man, I see some guys are killing it in business and they are sick, whether physically sick, or mentally sick from all the anxiety, all the stress. They're depressed. They're drinking themselves to death. They are mentally sick. They don't have time to work out. They don't have time to be active. They're fat. And I'm just sorry for saying that, but I struggle with that. I'm like, man, like I am sick sometimes. Like, dude, what is wrong with me? Like, if I don't have my health, what do I have? If I don't have my health, all I'm thinking about is how can I be healthy? If you're sick and you got the flu and you're puking and you're throwing up, all I can think about is how can I get healthy? Yet we go through life and we're getting sicker and sicker and we're eating all this crap and processed stuff. And I'm like, dude, I got to get healthy. So this is what we're going to help guys with their health. Vocation. Again, this is where it comes into, number one, business, and we're going to help guys with their business, with their vocation. Number one, are they making a lot of money, and are they doing well? But, man, are they living out their purpose? Is this what God's calling them to? And if it's not, then let's just take a step back. Maybe you can change it, maybe you can't, but let's just talk about it. Leadership. We're helping guys be better leaders, and that's just across the board, be better leaders. One of the things I think in this season of my life is how much am I impacting and contributing? How much am I impacting people's lives? If I'm just in my own little world, making my own little money, got my own little bank account, and then I'm good all there and I watch Netflix all day, I'm like, that's a bunch of crap. It is a bunch of freaking crap. How much are you impacting the kingdom? I hate the word retire and guys that just go off and they fish and play a bunch of golf and they're just in their own little world. I'm not saying that's bad and you like doing that. That's fun. But I'm like, if you're not impacting and contributing to people's lives, then you're missing it. You're missing it. And you're like, man, why am I just unhappy? It's because you're missing it. You have got to impact people's lives and how much you're contributing in people's lives, especially when we get to certain seasons of our life. Another one is freedom. How much freedom do you have? This is where it comes into, I always talk about financial freedom, obviously. This is a business guys. We like to have financial freedom, time freedom. We want to be able to do these things to live out our purpose. Now, this is not the seminar like, I don't want you to do anything and I don't want you to work. No. If you love your job and you love to work, if I asked a group of business guys, hey, who loves to work? I love to work. I love to work. I love to work towards something, but there's a different type, man. If I'm loving what I'm doing and I'm living out my purpose and my work is like this project and I love it, oh man, I would do it all day. But if I'm over here grinding on something that I hate, it's just different. So how much time freedom do you have? How much money freedom? And we talked about contribution and impact. I mean, these are some of the things. So I got relationship with God, relationships in the world, general, family, health, your vocation, your leadership, your freedom, and then how much are you contributing and impacting people's lives. So these are the things that we're going to be really assessing guys with, drawing out this roadmap at Iron Deep and helping guys in these areas of life. And our goal is to never be perfect. We're always going to be consistently growing towards these. We're never going to be 100%. We're never going to get an A+. It is a lifelong journey to inch our way through life towards more fulfillment in these areas of life. So pick one. What are you most challenged with? Is it your marriage? Is it your parenting? Do you just need, it all starts with your relationship with God. So like if these other areas are suffering, you start there. Maybe it is business. Maybe you're like, you know what, my family, I have an amazing relationship with my wife, an amazing relationship with my kids, but I just need to make some more money, or maybe I just need some more time. I'm just super strapped for time. You need more freedom. Maybe it's just like you just want to continue to grow as a leader. Maybe you just need impact more. You're in that season of impact. So whatever it is for you, again, this is kind of what we're doing with Iron Deep. So go over again to irondeep.com. Apply if you're interested in the community. Check out what we're doing on our videos at the YouTube channel Iron Deep. Love to see you at the retreat. Like I said, we got about 4 spots left, so check that out if you're interested in the retreat. And man, I'm just super excited for this. I'm super excited to walk with you if you're interested in this. And God's just doing some amazing things in my heart each and every day. And this is just what I love. This is my calling. This is my purpose. The next 20, 30 years of my life, man, if I could just do anything at all, pouring into men. Be better fathers, be better husbands, be better businessmen, be better leaders. Let's impact the kingdom. Let's kill the darkness. So much of it out there. We need strong leader men that can get crap done to take a hold and advance this kingdom, guys. This is where it's at. A lot of the other things are just letting us down. We can't rely on the government. The church, I love dearly, but especially in Western culture right now, we're just kind of on this cycle. We go, we consume it, and that's it. I don't see a lot of fruit in people that are just sitting and listening to messages. I don't see a lot of fruit. Where's the fruit? I think that's where Jesus, he's going to ask us at the end of this all. I'm like, okay, you believe in me, but where's the fruit? Where's the people that came with you? Are you just by yourself? Like, are you just coming in the doors by yourself? Like, where's the line of people coming with you that you poured into, that you impacted? And I think that this is where we got to go, guys. So if you're interested and you want to be around some guys that are, their hearts are passionate about mission and living the life on mission, this is where to go. irondeep.com is where you start. I love you guys. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast today. This is it. This is my solo tour, Brett Snodgrass podcast. If you guys want me to sing a song, do a rap, I don't know. I feel like I've went through a lot and rambled a lot, but thank you guys so much. I love you from the bottom of my heart. I want the best for you, and just thank you. Thank you for being a fan. Thank you for being a follower of Jesus Christ. If you are, if you're not, then I'd love to chat with you about that. So thank you guys so much. God bless you. We'll see you soon.